So many people today are stuck in this crazy addiction to busyness. And I see it with all the people I work with. Doesn't really matter what level they are, doesn't really matter what industry they're in or what job they do. The one common theme these days is busyness, and very seldom you come across somebody who's not stuck in that trap of busyness. And yet everybody that is stuck in that trap of busyness is craving for some way out of it, struggling with anxiety, rising levels of anxiety and overwhelm. And we've got to ask ourselves, where does this come from? Where does this addiction to busyness come from? And I think that it comes from the idea that success comes from hard work. And so if we believe that success comes from hard work, and also if we believe that our results are our success is the result of what we do, then if we're not getting the success that we want, we're obviously not working hard enough, doing enough. And so it leads us on this path to doing more. And it becomes more and more frenetic because that path is driven by fear. It's the fear that there's not enough. It comes from a place of lack. And really, lack is not just about money. Lack is any time that you feel that you need something outside of yourself to be okay, you're coming from a place of lack. And so what most people tend to do then is to look outside, look into the world out there to try and get what they feel is missing. But what they feel is missing is just an illusion. It's the mind's illusion. And so doing more really doesn't get more results, because as Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, each time expecting a different result. He also said the problem cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that created it. And so if you take the example of ice, and ice exists below zero. It cannot exist in an environment where the temperature is above zero. And so if you're in that below zero environment trying to get rid of the ice problem, you're never going to get rid of the ice problem because that's where ice exists. The only way to get rid of the ice is raise the temperature. And when you raise the temperature, there's nothing to solve. There's no problem. There's no ice problem. Ice just doesn't exist at that temperature. And similarly, we need to think about our own lives and what are the problems we think we need to solve. And instead of going out there to try and find a solution, come up with a clever strategy or a technique, or work harder, do more to solve the problem, is turn your attention inwards and ask yourself, what in you needs to change? What is the level of consciousness in you, the level of thinking in you that needs to change? And when you elevate that, then the problem dissolves, because it cannot exist at that temperature and in that environment. And how do you do that? Well, we now have the technology to actually measure the energetic frequency of emotions and thoughts. We can actually generate a sine wave. So emotions and thoughts are measurable energy. And so when we think a certain way, when we feel a certain way, and when we act a certain way, we're actually generating an energy. And that energy is the thing that tunes us into a different reality. Quantum physics has now shown us that all possibilities exist simultaneously, which means that whatever you can imagine, that reality exists. The reason you're not experiencing that reality is simply because you're not tuned in to the channel that's broadcasting that reality. And so the way to tune into that channel is to shift your thinking. If you're tuned into the busyness channel and you're stuck in this mindset that the only way to achieve things, the only way to be okay, the only way to get more success is to do more, which again is coming out of fear, then probably your thoughts are frenetic. Probably you're acting out of a state of anxiety and inner turmoil, and your actions are probably frenetic as well. Think about how you do your day, how you go through the day. Well, if you're doing that, then through your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, you are tuning your energy perfectly into the station that broadcasts busyness. But if you don't like what that station is broadcasting, you're not trapped. And trying to do more out there to get out of that station is not going to work. It's like being tuned into the rap station and then getting really angry with the fact that they play rap on the station that you tuned into, and then trying to use all your strategies and tools and manipulative techniques to get them to stop broadcasting rap. Well, that's the rap station. That's what they do. If you don't like rap, then tune into a different station. If you don't like busyness, if you don't like fear and anxiety, tune into a different station. Start to calm your thoughts. Start to think about, if whatever it is you want, what would be the way of thinking, feeling, and acting that would be in resonance with that. So if you want freedom, then, well, what do you need to let go of? Because really that's what it's more about. It's not really about programming yourself. It's really about tuning your energy. And we must remember that we came into this life in a state of success, natural state of success, a natural state of joy, a natural state of peace and freedom. There's no child that comes into this life with a concept of failure. There's no child that comes into this life not joyful. And so those are natural states. So it's really about saying, well, what is it that I need to let go of that's messing with my energy and causing me to tune into a lower frequency. And when you start to let go of that, and it could be a belief, it could be, well, what do you believe about it? And I think a very common one is that success comes from hard work, and success is the result of your own efforts. And if you really believe that, then you must also believe that life has no part in this. It's just you. It's all you. So if you're not getting the results you want, it's all because of what you're doing or not doing. And that's a stressful place to live. And that's often the belief that gets in the way of us naturally tuning into the station that broadcasts freedom and joy and success, because these are natural states.